1, 2, 3, 4.
Hi guys, and welcome to Marketing in the Madness. If you haven't been here before, hi, my name's Katie Street. I am your host for this podcast. I'm also the founder of a B2B marketing agency. But today I am coming to you live from Shoptalk in Barcelona, where I have been interviewing some of the most inspiring and innovative people in the world of retail. And wow, do I have a fantastic guest for you today. I have just had the pleasure of sitting down with the amazing Karen Ehrlich, VP and GM of Estee Lauder company. We talk about Clinique a lot, and I think what's really unique is the approach that Karen and her team have taken to putting the consumer first and designing really innovative journeys that are making sure that the Clinique brand is talking to today's consumer in the right places at the right time with the right content, making sure that they stay ahead. So, Karen, you look after some amazing and very cool brands, some that I love. We were just talking off camera about my big love for Clinique's cleansing balm. Of course, I'm going to get straight into the content today because we're at Shoptalk. These are kind of super fast, fun little episodes that we're recording. And your role, I guess, covers a lot as a VP GM of the whole of the skincare side of Estee Lauder brands. What's important for you guys right now when it comes to marketing, digital, innovation? What are the things at the forefront for you?
I think I would say definitely put the consumer at the forefront of everything that we do, really understand their behaviors, their needs, and then tailor the content and the messages that we deliver to them together with the right propositions in a way that is relevant to them. So it's not the brand talking to the consumers, but it's really putting the consumer and their needs first.
And I think that's what's it can be quite hard because especially with a brand like Clinique, for instance, it talks to, every single age group. Like I know there's often like trending products that my daughter who's 17 loves, but also, I've been using Clinique, probably since I was a teenager. So you're talking to lots of different people in lots of different ways. How on earth do you manage that?
Well, it's interesting because when I speak to people, a lot of people think about do you do target by generation, by age? How do you do that? And definitely we use demographics and we use generations as well as part of the targeting when we're understanding the consumer, because it gives us great generational cues on the consumer. However, to be effective, we need to go one step ahead and really understand the behaviors, the digital habits, and their consumer needs. So let me try to bring to life and to give you some examples. So one of the trends that we see right now in the market is called Skinimalism. So it's this trend about having efficient products and efficient results with minimal fuss, with simple routines and simple steps. This is not a Gen X or a Gen Z trend. It's a mindset. So take Clinique, for example. We have our 3-step system that talks about cleanse, exfoliate, and moisturize. You're probably familiar with if you're using Clinique because it's like our legacy formulas that, despite being legacy, they deliver on the modern values of the consumers. It delivers on performance and efficiency. And then it cuts through across different generations. Or you're talking about daughters and mothers and this relationship on Black Honey, for example. That is our very cult viral lipstick that was rediscovered by Gen Z a couple of years ago and really started with Gen Z because they were able to see on the product. It really set on that sweet spot of it's diverse, it's easy, and it's iconic. So they rediscovered in TikTok. But today what we see is that the product has been consumed across different generations because it's what we call reverse influence, where the daughters are now introducing the products to their mothers and having this really interesting conversation. And again, that's just a way of creating influence, thinking about the values first rather than just the demographic or the generation. So I think that these are just two examples of how we're doing marketing and connecting with consumers at Clinique.
Yeah, I guess you often, because you have access to all of this data, you're maybe seeing the trends come up before we even see them. But what does it mean when you're thinking of your like go-to-market or your advertising approach or how you're engaging with consumers across social channels, or not even just social, like events, there's so many different things in the marketing mix. What are you guys focused on right now? Are there any exciting things that you've got coming in the future?
Well, I think personalization is definitely a big trend in beauty. There's a lot of people that get the concept and misunderstand it a little bit because they think about personalization as creating a lot of products for different people. And that can really lead to the fragmentation of the brand. The way we love to think about personalization is really to understand what are the consumer needs and then personalize the way we connect to them and the solutions that we offer to them in a personalized way. So I can give you some examples of how we're doing it. So let's think about glow. That is another big trend in the industry right now. If we think about Gen Z, the young consumer, they're talking and discovering those trends to TikTok or the phenomenon of Korean beauty skin. And if you think about Korean beauty, usually they talk about glass skin. So if I want to talk to the consumer, the young consumer about glow, I'm going to connect with them talking about glass skin, and I'm going to be on TikTok. But this trend is also relevant to millennials and older generations that will probably talk about radiance. So when I'm in contact with those consumers, I need to shift the way I connect with them and the benefits that I'm delivering. So in the end, even if I'm talking about the same product and the same type of benefit, it's really important to flex the language. And what I love, and when we think about AI and all the different technologies that are coming to the market, is how we're using that to bring that to life. So we have today an amazing team in our offices that really are into the social networks, really understanding what consumers are doing, talking about, and they can spend weeks to try to talk those behaviors. And I think we just launched in Estee Lauder companies what we call Trend Studio. That is a tool powered by AI that can, like, in minutes, scrap the social networks and give us those trends and the consumer language in a very short time. And with that, it allows us to react and to put content out there to the consumers in the right way, the right language, and in a short time. So I think this is one of the examples from a strategic level that I think is quite interesting. We also have what we called more tactical things that we do when it comes to personalization. So on Clinique, for example, we have a diagnostic tool called Clinical Reality that is also powered by AI. So what it does, it scans your face and it's able to map 80 different points to give you what are your skin concerns and what are the right products for you to use. And the way it does, it's really by using the 55 years that Clinique has in dermatological science, combined with more than 3 million face scans that we have been doing over the years. And you're able to access that on your website, on your mobile phone, or if you go to stores, for example. On top of that, you can have the consultant giving you a really prescribed information on how to use the products, what are the right routines. And that's why I think we see like great results, because if we're able to give to the consumer what they really want and what they really need, then they will have the best result possible. So personalization definitely is a big trend.
Yeah, and it kind of makes it fun as well, right? Like, you know, having a skin diagnostic tool, it's really hard to like create the lovely personal experience. And I think that's what got me into Clinique, you know, years ago, in maybe in Boots or somewhere like that, where they sit with you, they take you through the routine, you get, you know, advice on the right products for your skin. And I think what you're doing is you're now, you know, what digital has enabled is for us to recreate those kind of really personal, human feeling, you know, like in-store experiences within the world of digital. And that to me is so exciting.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think we are, we're super excited as well when we see the results, when we see the reviews and consumers coming back and the trust that we're able to build with them, no matter what is the touch point.
Yeah, I love that. Now, we did speak a little bit about TikTok. I'm always really interested in TikTok because it's almost, well, it is an e-commerce platform now in its own right. What does that mean for you as a brand? Like, are you advertising on there? Like, do you list on the TikTok shop? Like, how does that work in terms of your kind of go-to-market strategy with TikTok?
I think that it's impossible to think about connecting with the young consumer or even be part of the culture without being on TikTok. So we're definitely on TikTok, and we're definitely talking to the community. What I think it's important to have in mind is how do we do that? Because it's a very unique platform, and especially when you think about the young consumer, they don't want the brands talking to them. It's like a peer-to-peer conversation. And I think that's the type of strategy that we try to adopt when we are on TikTok with Clinique or Dr. Jart or with the different brands we have in the portfolio. So I was mentioning to you about Black Honey and how it was rediscovered through TikTok. And what we did when we saw that it started to go viral organically was really to amplify that conversation. It was not about interrupt, but it was really like if we saw great user-generated content, we really put media to boost that content. We also did more seeding, and seeding is a key part of our strategy where we let creators try our products and they can give their point of view. And if we have them talking about our brands, half of the job is already done. We don't need to do much more. So definitely that's a strategy that works really well when we think about TikTok. And events is another one, because think about pop-up experiences or brand experiences in general. What we try to do today is not only an experience where consumers go there, they try our innovation, and then we can retail the product. We try to create experiences that are really designed for social sharing. So consumers can try and they can create their own content at those experiences or masterclasses or any type of event to really enable shareability.
I love that. That's so cool. I honestly, whenever I see something like that, I just want to, I don't know if it's a female thing as well sometimes, but I just want to be able to go and do it, like to have the fun. It makes it fun, right? You're discovering products in a totally new way. And I love the fact that you're focusing on creating experiences that are then shareable on social, because that's how you're going to reach people. Like, you know, it's hard, isn't it? You've got the creator economy that you need to nurture and work with the right, you know, the right influencers. But then also, I think user-generated content, I mean, we've been talking about UGC for years, but it's so important now. It's, I think, probably the most trusted, you know, you don't know who's going to blow up on TikTok or Instagram or whatever, but people trust their friends and those kind of micro-influences that you get from your own connections and your own friends. Huge.
Yeah, you're right. It's the peer-to-peer that is much more relevant than the brand-to-consumer when we talk about TikTok or young consumers these days.
Yeah. And actually, I mean, just thinking about cost effectiveness, probably a more cost effective way to run campaigns.
Yes, definitely. We don't need to think about big productions, traditional advertising. I think that there's still a lot of people that talk about, well, we need to drive attention and put attention at the forefront of everything that we do. I really believe that we need to think about shareability, how to create experiences, and we let the communities to share, to participate, because if they participate and they share on the behalf of the brand, the value that we get is much stronger, because the right communities and the right consumers will find a way to find the message.
Yeah. Oh, I love this. Honestly, I'm such a big fan of beauty products. It's probably like the thing I have the most of in my house. So this is so interesting. And I think you're taking such a great, you know, especially for a legacy brand, such a, you know, future focused, innovative approach to kind of getting the brands out there with consumers. I love it. With so many brands entering the market in the world of beauty, how do you guys make sure that you're staying ahead?
Well, that's a great question, and one that we think about every day. I think the first thing is we need to be true to what the brand stands for. Think about Clinique. It's a timeless brand. The way it started was with the purpose of creating great skin for everyone. And to do that, the brand delivered their products guided by dermatologists. The products are 100% allergy tested, fragrance-free. And we have all the science backing the development of those products. So this is our promise. And this happened from day one until today. So what the brand stands for and how we deliver the products remains the same. I think what we need to do to keep relevant and fighting with new brands that are coming to the market is think about how do we connect with the consumer in a relevant way. So while the core is the same, the connection needs to evolve. And when I think about connection, I'm thinking about what are those behaviors, what are those needs, the mindsets and the trends, and how can we tap into that in a relevant and ownable way. This, I think, is definitely one of the secrets for us. It's keep evolving in emotional connection, in storytelling, without changing our core. Because that's also what gives us loyalty. Because when consumers, they go and they try the brand, they have an experience because we know the products deliver on the results. So the quality is there, the trust is there. So then they see it works and they come back. And even let's be honest, we know that all consumers, even the loyal ones, are always flirting with different products, right? As the nature of beauty, it's so exciting that sometimes you need to try something else. But what we see is that consumers usually come back. And they come back or because they are frustrated with a false promise, or because they had a skin concern in the past, their skin gets better, and then the skin concern returns and they know exactly what to trust, what the brand to trust, and where to find the products. And I think that loyalty is definitely a key part of the success of Clinique today because of this promise and how we are very integral to delivering on that.
Yeah, I mean, it is, although it's a heritage brand, I think sometimes you think, oh, legacy brands, there are all these new people coming through. But actually, like you say, you've earned the trust. Like, it's, rooted in science, and you can really, really buy into Clinique because it is such a trusted, fantastic brand. And you guys do a great job of positioning that in the right way for today's consumer, I think.
And keep modernizing, keep the brand relevant. Talk about glass skin, talk about Skinimalism, but using the right products and the right science to deliver on those promises.
Yeah, it's dialing into the trends in the right way for the brand. And I think you do that beautifully. Now, my last question, you've been at the show already this morning, listening to some talks. What have you heard that's different, that's innovative, and maybe that's kind of particularly relevant to the beauty industry?
Well, I think definitely a lot of the speakers were talking about putting the consumer at the forefront and listening to the consumer, the way they design the strategies. They were talking about the way sometimes they design their internal structures to really think about consumer first. And that's definitely something that we do on Estee Lauder companies. We need to meet the consumer where they are. I think that that's key. And definitely something that we're keen to make sure that using AI and all the different technologies that we have available right now and all those partnerships that the company is creating, that we really respond to those demands in time and in the right way.
Yeah, that's a really lovely way to end, actually, because it's human first, responding to the consumer's needs, but using the right technologies to do that. So, yeah, a big thank you, Karen. Thank you for joining me.
My pleasure. Thank you so much.